Greetings, greetings, great uprising, great uprising. The origin of United States citizenship. United States, abbreviation US or U.S. A country, United States never defined, is a country that occupies most of the southern half of North America, as well as Alaska and the Hawaiian Islands. And then so the population is about 321 million roughly. Capital, Washington, D.C., not Pennsylvania. Full name for the US, full name, United States of America. All right, so the US is a federal republic comprising of 50 states and the Federal District of Columbia. Again, remember, the US is a country, and them said the proper name for it, or the full name is the United States. Now, the United States is that country, and listen carefully. America, separate and distinct from the United States of America. The very United States of America / US is a federal republic comprising of 50 states and the Federal District of Columbia, that is in Washington, D.C. That's where them do all them business. That's which part, you'd call it them foundational base. That's their capital. Again, it's separate from America, the continent, the landmass. This is what you call a country. It is in fact a corporation. Right? It originated in the American, not the United States, the American Revolution, the successful rebellion of the colonies. Remember them, it start with 13 colonies on the eastern coast against British rule in what? 1775 to 1783. Listen to the time frame. Remember, the Spanish was here from 1492. And Spanish not just mean pale face or yellow skin or, non-dark people. It include all of them. Guys, a whole mixed breed of people invade this location. And I'm not being rude. I just talk our historical truth as I would see. I realize that colonizers and colonists, good people, when they hear me speak, them would think, so boy, me I come from a vindictive aspect or point of view. No, we are come from a place of truth. And our truth not necessarily wear clothes. We just express it as it is. So, even if it may offend you, it is not a crime, it is not a sin, it is just truth. You have to get them clarity to other people, because sometimes good people will misunderstand with. You know what I mean? And ignore the information what we share, we apply to everybody. My information is not just for Indian. My information is for all man, especially man who have integrity, moral, human dignity. Them are going to call themselves human. The inhuman are the ones that will behave psychotic out there. We look at other people as property. So these things are clarity. Now, we said the original 13 state that formed the Union drew up a federal constitution in 1787. A federal constitution. Now, this is why these original 13 states, them will say them have sovereignty over the 14th Amendment citizens. That's the distinction them have. Them no mention nothing about the Indian where them come see, the Indian where them colonize, the Indian where them genocide. In fact, them call those Indians Negro, colored, African American, all different kind of labels outside of Indian, only because the documentation what them have out there in the public have got proof that these foreign people invade this location and usurp our position and stole our inheritance or hereditament or birthright, and most importantly, all our land. Who can rebut what I just said? Now, in the 19th century, the territory, meaning the landmass area of the United States, was extended across the continent. People, listen carefully, everywhere them spread out themselves. Through the westward spread of pioneers, that's what they call themselves, settlers, that's what they call themselves, colonists, and acquisitions such as that of Texas and California from the people and what I call Mexican over Mexico. And this happened in the 1840s. So I'm on a chance of my people when I read and write can catch it, Yeah, because if we just put out written words, it go over a lot of my people then. So when we chant it this way, whether you can read or write, once you have a ear to ear, then you're not going to miss it. Now we say after a long period of isolation in foreign affairs, meaning there was non-participants, non-existent. The US participated on the Allied side in both world wars and emerged from the Cold War as the world's leading military and economic power. We are talking about the United States. It have nothing to do with the American where them come and colonize. Now, again, we talk about citizenship and nationality, and I'm going to say citizenship and nationality, however, was not specified in the original constitution. That the original federal constitution were them instituted in 1776 by way of the Articles of Confederation. And after that, them propagate them 1784 or 1886 Northwest Ordinance. This is when them extend themselves. So as time progressed, them a do what them a do and a improve. When most people not understand, so we are experience what is known as a reset, because that's what them a do, literally in front with. But our ancient ancestors, them wipe them out, so them not gonna be able to express it like how I man a break it down. This is why them remove from substance and move to fiction, paper, imagination, negotiation, agreements. Yeah. So this is where them master them word wizardry and deceive you. Yeah, it's only when we're ignorant that deception can work. So again, where say citizenship and nationality never exists when them a start them thing. As them go along, them come with that. Now in 1868, the 14th Amendment, now them get to specifics. The 14th Amendment specifically define not man or woman, persons who were born or naturalized in any one of these corporate areas like the United States or Jamaica or England, all of these corporation, Canada, they are all corporation people, meaning they are business entity. They may represent the landmass, but they are not the landmass. This is why them are going to administrate you, because again, the 14th Amendment specifically define persons, not man, nor woman. These are the subtlety what most people miss. These are the subtlety where the genius walk past. But when I say genius, me I talk about these gurus. And a man like me where come from out of the ghetto where we not read and write properly. We not too bright. We just choose to apply ourselves. So this is why we can be specific when we approach this system. You understand? Again, in 1868, the 14th Amendment specifically, not generally. This is where deception exists when them generalize everything. But when them get down to specificity, you have to know, say, boy, this is where the law sit down. This is where the technicality sit down. So the 14th Amendment specifically defined persons, not man nor woman. This is why those persons are written as male and female. It is said in the beginning, God created man and woman, never a male and female that come after. So, my people, what is first in time is usually choice. So, if God create man and then He go create male and female, then we're gonna work with the first instance. It's as simple as that. And most people miss them kind of separation here. Where the legal entity, which is that person, is the only thing these corporations can interact or interface. Look up the definition of interface or interface with. However, if you don't know who you are as that man, that living soul manifests as such, then you'll be administered as a piece of paper, as a corporation, as a business enterprise. I hope the item will get them clarity. Yeah? We have a class, and these are more for the ones that were in the class. You understand? But we will express these things so ones out there can have access. That's all it is. So again, just know so when you hear country, it's synonymous with corporation. If you are existing within a corporation, then the bylaws of such corporations, which are their legal standards, alternatively used as rules and regulation. It's called bylaws. You understand? So once you find yourself there, you're subjected to those rules and regulation, irrespective of what you're screaming, irrespective of what you think. The only way you can rebut their presumption is by putting specific information on, piece of paper and get it certified. You understand? Meaning it is recognized by their system. So on the mainland, if you're foreign out there, another on the island, which part need I deal with our specific instrument, then you can use a notary. And if me I do anything or me I share information, me give the specifics of how you structure. If you're there on this island, you can always choose to use a justice of the peace. And it is always very important not to use an attorney. If an attorney said he's a justice of the peace, you don't use that attorney as justice of the peace. You use a man that is not an attorney. Why? Because his authority is under the constitutional laws, and his authority is much higher than even a common court judge. These justices of the peace are not aware of their office or their power. Totally clueless, and me have to teach them. So them thing where we are step this way because we are say we are free people with the outsider where them are try, impose upon us. Now them have to choose to rebut our freedom stance. It's impossible. Can I listen? There is no way fiction can interact or interface with a non-fiction. I won't even repeat that. Now, like I said, the United States, that corporation, understanding and practice of citizenship has evolved significantly throughout its history, moving from narrow definitions to broader inclusions. Initially, citizenship was limited to a select group, primarily colonial white men, these colonists, and access was granted through these colonial naturalization. So this was a foreign people thing, nothing to do with it. They never want win that thing. According to the great law of peace, we couldn't get involved. This is why we could never be a citizen until them convert you from a man to a person, from a man to a male, from a woman to a female, and you people miss it. You people miss it. Again, initially, citizenship was limited to a selected group, primarily white men, and access was granted through naturalization. Now, the Civil War and the passage of the 14th Amendment in 1866 marked a turning point, defining citizenship by birth within any one of these corporations guising themselves as a country. So once you're defined as a citizen within the United States or within Jamaica or within Canada or within England, all these are corporations, it can be proven. You're going to find them on Duns and Bradstreet. Just like how I show the UCC financing statement for Jamaica, that is proof, that is evidence. So them are corporation in our corporate capacity, listed as debtor because them are operate under bankruptcy, they are insolvent. This is why everything is prepaid and your signature represent currency, represent money. I don't want to go into that part too much. Let me get back on course. Yeah, I'm loving it, people. I have to comprehend that. Again, we have said initially, a white people citizenship did apply to. And when them come in at this location or them are going at them little state where them is naturalization, them call it. It's still in practice now. We have Jamaican what can show you naturalization documents, but you know so them originally is from Jamaica. And only because I see all of these instruments. I've seen these things. Yeah, man. Again, them say again, the Civil War and the passage of the 14th Amendment in 1866 changed everything where them start define citizenship by birth within the United States or any one of these corporations and its jurisdiction. Jurisdiction means authority and control. Now, when you see a policeman stop you, you go down the road and interact, this is because they make a presumption that there is an antecedent contract somewhere. When we say antecedent, again, we mean pre-existing, mean something where they must say happen and exist and it's put on somewhere long time ago. Now, once they make that kind of presumption, it is incumbent on you to request such contract and let them place it on the record for inspection and discussion. Without such contract, they cannot express jurisdiction. It's all a bluff. It's called risk management. So them are going to scare you if you submit. This is why I see me there right now. Cause them try scare me. Them do everything. But I don't know. All when me want give up. All when me want run and hide. A spirit in me just jump out and say, go suck your mother body boy. We are try enslave pussy. And I me I do it, you know. I just want ancestral spirit in me. I say, run them and burn them and gun them down. Wanna go with no slavery, Saddamite. Honor me, blame the ancestral spirit where honor made me. In a year, we are sharing information when a guy in a earth not presenting this way. What guru? We not tell you to submit. We are show you why you're not supposed to submit. That's what I man represent. I represent what it is to be free. You don't have to like me. Care zero about that. You get me? God, the warrior them will secure me, know themselves. And when I left, the divine creator, anything will happen, the divine power of the other. So we don't worry about absolutely nothing out there. We have to just acknowledge the energy shift and know that anything we manifest are for our good, irrespective of how it looks. And we just maintain with integrity. Energy shift, my people. Energy shift. Yeah, man. Now, again, them them United States and them jurisdiction. Now, we said this include formerly enslaved people. Who are those formerly enslaved people? Them they ever say persons right here, you know. Because when them use people, people is a pluralized form of persons. So when you have person or persons, persons with a S is not really the pluralized version. No, that is the legalized definition to make you know, say, them a talk about an corporation. Them not talk about the living man. Them a talk about the legal entity as a person, as a corporation. I hope they hide them well. I'm quite sure they hide them. I get this level of clarity. Because it's necessary. It is necessary. So again, them said them thing you apply the 14th Amendment, applied to formerly enslaved people, and later the expansion of birthright citizenship. This is how them usurp with inheritance, our birthright. To children of citizen mother. So because your mother is a citizen, you automatically born you're a citizen too. And because you're a citizen and them register you, you're a slave to them, them control you. You're in their jurisdiction. But I am here to rebut that and say, listen, not so. Only that piece of paper is the citizen. Only that piece of paper is within their foreign jurisdiction. Only that piece of paper these foreign colonizers can interact and interface with. Only a piece of paper. Now, here I'm going at anyone on the court. I'm going to totally tear it down with this truth. Which judge, which man or woman can come in front of a man such as I and ask them can rebut it? Which one? None. None out there, my people. That's why I say my views get so small as it ought to be. Because when I say fireborn parasite, I'm saying you, what don't mean me any good, get the mess away from me. Don't even look at our information. Get away from us. That's what we really are saying. We are saying fireborn. Oh no, when I support freedom. Oh no, when I want freedom. Oh no, when I know freedom. We are running now. We are sending to go entertain ourselves with the entertainers like the Vibes Cartel and all of those nonsense. But that's what we are sending them. I want to stay right there. Now, over time, the legal landscape, not lawful, of citizenship has been shaped by various factors, including the Civil War, always some big catastrophe, legal precedents. This is a group of bar member attorney calling themselves judges, where I give them opinion, and international agreements. Now we are talking about contract law, resulting in a more inclusive definition of American citizenship. Again, let me go back over that. Over time, the legal landscape of citizenship has been shaped by various factors, including the Civil War, legal precedent, and international agreements, resulting in a more inclusive definition of American citizenship. Now, them not say US citizenship. You notice the difference? You notice the distinction? Now, them say American citizenship. key milestone in the history of the US citizenship. Time frame, time period. 1790, the first Naturalization Act defined who could be a citizen through naturalization, initially limiting it to free white persons, not man or woman. So the first Naturalization Act could never apply to no American Indian, no Ameri-Indian, no West Indian, none away it not apply to. Impossible. It applied to all of these foreigners from elsewhere. Remember, we them enslaved and say we dunce, we are prisoner of war, we all of these things. And then don't take my word for it. All the item have to do is do their own basic research and then come and try to rebut what I've presented. That's it. Time frame, time period, 1866 and 1868. Following the Civil War, the Civil Rights Act and the 14th Amendment established birthright citizenship, granting citizenship to those born in the corporate countries and subject to its corporate jurisdiction. We'll continue. Insular cases, this is 1909. We'll start at 1790, 1866 to 1868. Now we're at 1901. This is when the Supreme Court ruled on the rights of citizens in the U.S. insular possessions, which were not on a path to statehood. So this would be some location like how you see Jamaica indirectly, all of these little places. But we're now going to try to elaborate this up. We're going to move on to 1920s where Immigration Act was established. Now, the Immigration Act of 1921 and 1924 reflected concerns about declining authority of white Anglo-European Americans and exclude Asian immigrants from naturalization. Do the research. This is when them ban the Asian people. Because them they start bomb rush around here. This is when them said, we don't want no more Chinese around here. We don't want no more none of them kind of people around here. Why? Because none of them not originate around here. If they had them ever understand the genocide what my people experience, one that operate and function different. We move on to 1940s and 1970s, where these amendments to the Cable Act addressed citizenship of married women and the retention requirement for U.S. citizens born abroad was eliminated. Now, in other words, if you're born abroad and you're not structured within them corporate country, then it not apply. You have to get naturalized by way of like how you say, oh, my son live in the US and him in them corporate country and me want go in there, then him have to go file for me on the paperwork. I'm just going there under that corporate nonsense. No. Me a free man, me have a world passport, me there in my land. So when me go move, there is no guy with no kind of authority to stop me. And a sodomite can't put no border in my land and I tell me say, need permission. Not one of these colonizers can try me like that. In my land, judgment out here. Judgment over there. Even Canada my place. When I know so much white-faced foreign guy I behave like say Canada on my place. Canada and America. Even Greenland. We have to know these things. We have to know these things. Before I come off of this topic, I'm going to touch upon polarity. Polarity is the state of having two opposite or contradictory tendencies, opinions, or aspects. I come across that information and I like it and I share it. It's a freedom can be understood in negative and positive ways. So that's where polarity is. Negative freedom means absence of restraints, while positively it refers to real opportunities and powers to achieve one's potential. True freedom balances individual, not group, individual liberties with reasonable constraint to prevent harming others. Now, me as a free man, if me I move like a man of unsound mind, even though I'm free, I'm in under nobody jurisdiction, because me I move when I might be a danger to myself or be a danger to others, I can be regulated. I can be, you know what I mean, brought in for make sure, say, for my safety and in the interest of the public. Because you know what, me being unsound got hurt nobody out there in the public. So these are specificities where the one them have to comprehend. You understand? Now, laws and social practice can restrict freedom that are when you're there within their construct. Nothing can restrict your freedom. Any man interfere with your liberty, him do it at his own peril. Meaning, if you get upset and go to him house and place some dynamite in that location and raise it, and if you know him have a neighbor where him friendly with, you raise that area too. You gotta have right to do all of that. Because that sodomite interfere with your liberty and I talk about its public policy. No, you have to pay with your life. When you start paying with your life, things are gonna change. Literally. Because the moment you interfere with a man's liberty, you break the law. The Constitution make no provision for such unlawful actions. You have to know that. That's why I'm talking, so. That's why I assert my authority and my truth this way. I live for it. I'll die 1,000 times for it. And live again for it. Naturally. And the difference that when they them now push this kind of energy. Go one side. And they even come in front of me. Go one side. Go one side. Yeah, man. One should be free to act privately without interference, but actions affecting others can be regulated to prevent harm. I can agree with that. This is what we are dealing with. This is why I'm going to say a judgment out there, my people. Before I go again, definition of commodity. Commodity, a basic good or goods used in commerce that is interchangeable with other commodities of same type. Birth certificate. Commodities are most often used as inputs, birth certificate, in production of other goods or services. The quality of a given commodity, birth certificate, may differ slightly, but it is essentially uniform across producers. When they are traded on the stock exchange market, commodities must also meet specified minimum standard SMS, also known as basic grade. Any good exchange during commerce, which includes goods traded on a commodity exchange, is where you call them commodities. So watch me now. At the very certificate. Now, I'm on the day over my notes, so I don't know what's going on this side. So all I'm going to try to do now is just wrap it up and know, say, boy, my work done. It's up to the item for scrutinize the information, for qualify the information, and, just make use of what the item have right there. That's all the item can do out there. Salute, Sammy Bowler. Anna me king, long time, my lord. Anna me king, I want to tell you, say, you need for coming our little class, but Anna one class, so I just have it open. It's a class where I'm going to just know, so the item have to bring a strength and come into the class, then the item sit down and do what the item want to do and learn as how the item want. And it's more like university. And not just book on paper. You go have I as a lecturer, just a share information, qualifying those information, and then share with the item I part to freedom. So I then class that I man go hold, and today we'd have a little meeting where a brethren just link everyone on a little line thing, and that was a real divine thing. Especially coming from the brethren where we know, say, this man have no ulterior motive. Salute Dale out there. No ulterior motive. And we really get some information cracking. So I like the idea there. I'm not going to try be selfish, but I now left myself open for people that's run in and use me up and they even, you know, donate a bottle of water to make sure we can, you know, yeah, at least pacify with dry throat when we have to cough. We're not in the parasitic energy where some of you people just come for tech. We're kind of sick of it and we're kind of sit through it and we're kind of humble ourselves. When we have that little class, it's like a group thing when we have one thing. You give her your strength and come in and just like other people, that you just sit down in there, you don't do nothing, but me don't want you come in on my thing for free. That's all me I say. Now, when you want to do the things and what we do, and you want we structure paperwork or we share information on how to do your thing, them thing there you got to pay for them thing. Yeah, them thing there where ones have to go do a personal, you know, work those things. So you pay for that. You understand? You hang out in that class as long as you want, you learn as best as you want. But when you want, like, if you have said this is the way I do it or would do it, you pay for that. The ones them we're gonna get in a trouble have interest. I hear this thing, but them not really have interest to make no step until them get in a trouble. When they not get in a trouble, if you know want me write a note, a letter, a notification, and a pay me for that. And now do them thing that for free. You understand? And me I say them thing that because we've been here doing a whole bunch of things and hear a lot of people in a lot of ways. I don't know what them people are there. Because some of them just want to get fixed and then disappear. So we don't have no interest in that energy there. Right now, we have a set of ones where we just have build and we have a build from there. Yeah, man. And it's more like our work network. Years ago, this is how we start networking. So we just maintain that. You know what I mean? Our work Indian nation at the graduation area when you know you leave from the network. You got structure in such a way where naturally that's how you got there. The society. But you know, just walk in off of the road with your baggage and your crosses and come mingle with it. You're going to only pollute with. You're going to only spoil with. And you'll always be a distraction to it. Because we're going to always hear you ask for things where you don't even qualify to get. So it's a step-by-step process out there. Again, the brave may fall, but never yield, and we step bold and brave, firm and strong. Again, people, it's a step-by-step process, always. I see that judgment coming, and it's going to be in many different forms, and each individual will have their own experience. So each individual will have to address them experience accordingly. Yeah. My situation and yours won't be the same. So we're now going to use a general application on both. That won't work. And that's been the problem for most people. Always been the problem. Yeah, man. So again, you know, it's a step-by-step process. And our advocacy is only freedom. And we are demonstrating that you want to run going to the country where it's a corporation called the United States of America. A man like me knows that me exist in America itself, what we know as the Western Territory. The colonized people will not be able to see that distinction. They can't, you know, detect the subtlety, the word wizardry. This is why I say we in the Western Territory. When you hear territory, know them I talk about land. When you hear country, know you're gone in a space somewhere. You have been removed from the land. Now you're in a federal jurisdiction. Federal jurisdiction. And then the original people of the 13 colonies, them are going to say them are national within that federal jurisdiction. And the 14th Amendment persons, them are going to say them are the federal citizens. But they're all federal citizens, them just in a different capacity. Now, you West Indian, you're separate, apart, and distinct from all of that until then trick you by way of deception and assimilation. Yeah, man, them are going to induce you, silently induce you by them word wizardry. trickery, and fraud. Watch me now, people. This is a much higher level than what most of us ever dream to be. On this island, me know, me not hear nobody talk this way, having the kind of foundation and clarity and knowing where them I go with this thing. Remember, what's a freedom. Everybody else, just tell them to prove what them I say. Just tell them to verify what they're saying. Ask them to validate what them I say. And then you ask them, why were you in court if you have ever been in court? And how did it work out for you? Were you in court with an attorney or without? You understand? What kind of criminality them arrest you for? You understand? These are the things that were necessary. So you know people background. When them come out looking fancy, but them a pedophile. You understand? So them not impressed we out there. I say when you speak, prove what you say. So we can respect you. If you just a talk, then that's all you do. Just talk. This is why we not have nobody express themselves this way. We can talk boldly, say sovereign in our capacity. You have some little cross-dressing agent sissies. They can't use the word sovereign because they're agents. The only people that can be sovereign here are the American Indians. Those ones who are the West Indians. Those ones who are the Ameri-Indians. These ones. It's one and the same classification. You understand? If you call yourself a nigger, it not apply. If you call yourself a Jamaican citizen, a US citizen, American citizen, it doesn't apply to you. Once you're gone on their citizenship, you're enslaved, you're gone in a whole foreign jurisdiction. This is why if you're in a them foreign corporate country, them can deport you back to that foreign corporate country where you come from. But if you renunciate, have an affidavit to state where you there, who you are, these sodomite will hold you. But these sodomite will not be able to gain jurisdiction over you. Impossible. They have to go release you. You understand? And then the next step is when them continue messing around, you can sue them. I remember me show, well, we never show the information where the bond is. And once you see, you only want to see one example, one situation, and you know the very same situation is uniform, meaning it applies to all other agencies. And them kind of clarity our people will miss. You understand? Yeah. And the subtlety are where you find the technicality. This is why you have people do all kind of things. When them go in a court, they walk out, and them say, how they do that? Somebody just whisper and say, oh, it's only technicality. He got off on technicality, but he got off, didn't he? He's free, didn't he? So how important is technicality? How important is it? It's like the Jamaican people that try vice cartel again, for whatever reason, that situation is that way. But I am he who said there's a double jeopardy clause within the Constitution, and me come talk it publicly. I did that. No attorney knew. I did that. And watch me now, the record out there for prove it. Because you will see what was happening before, and then you're going to see everything that happened after. Them things are just natural things, law. And most people are going to miss all of these things until later when we're gone and people are write books about these things. And then I'll twist it and talk how I was a national hero and I was a good citizen. All these nonsense don't ever talk. But that is only for maintaining them colonization and them slavery. So again, people, choose to wise up, choose to wake up, choose to act. You have to say autonomously, not just independently, autonomously. We really need to come together. You understand? But it makes no sense if we're not upon one accord. It makes no sense. Anyway, complete gratitude out there. Salute for the time, salute for the presence, you know. May the Most High guide and protect the item in all the item endeavors. Yeah, man, and fulfill the item desires in all capacities perpetually. Complete gratitude out there. The brave may fall, but never yield. We say bold and brave, firm and strong. Salute free people. Complete gratitude out there.